What do you think is the future of Guwahati in terms of becoming a business destination or becoming, a choice of someone to start their business here?
Yeah, I think it has a very bright future. It is developing, of course, very rapidly. I think there's so many beautiful things in the area, so it's a natural destination
How do you advise that here's where your business should start?
for any would-be entrepreneurs out there. I would say identify your passion, follow your passion. You're going to be happier and you're going to be more successful.
How do you find a good client?
People like to do business with those that they know, like, and trust.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Guwahati Connection. My next guest is Graham Weihmiller. Well, to introduce him, Graham is the chairman and CEO of BNI, a role that he's been holding since, almost till 2014, and it's almost been about 10 years now. His extensive leadership experience includes positions at Pioneer Equity, American Franchise Company, Bank of America, Booz Allen, and JP Morgan. Graham also is a frequent speaker on entrepreneurship and franchising in prestigious institutions like Harvard, Stanford, and in fact Georgetown, making him a really known personality around the globe. Well, you may know BNI as a community of business entrepreneurs, at least here in Guwahati, who proudly put up a lot of signages as BNI members at their shops. What they do, what they believe in is something that we can, learn with Graham today. And to all the BNI members watching this today, make sure that you stick to the end of the video and leave your thoughts on the comments below. In case you haven't subscribed to the Gplus YouTube channel, please be sure to do that. All right, see you on the other side.
Welcome to the show, Graham. Thank you so much for giving us the time. Before we move into an in-depth conversation, let me first understand from you and then, take it forward from there. What do you think BNI has done or achieved over the past, few years since its inception in a city like Guwahati?
Yeah, our global mission is to change the way the world does business, and that is in 79 countries, but it's right here in Guwahati as well. The idea is to introduce a new way for entrepreneurs and business leaders to collaborate with other businesses, even those within their same category. And through that collaboration and the relationship building, they have a chance to contribute to others, but also to receive referrals. And we can talk more about the power of referrals. But they also build very close friendships, and they have a chance to learn quite a bit from other businesses in terms of how they scale. And so we've seen that take place right here with 10 chapters of BNI entrepreneurs and business leaders, and well over 500 members at this point right here in Guwahati. So that is something that is very exciting.
You've been responsible for, I would say, creating a lot of business success stories. People have been successful after joining BNI. What do you define success in a business? How do you define success in a business?
Well, first of all, I appreciate your kind words. Our members create their own success in collaboration with other BNI members. One of the things that I say about BNI, which is really true, and I know it sounds funny with this title, but the reality is no one actually runs BNI. You just try to catch up. That's the reality. So there's this boundless spirit within our chapters and within the organization globally. But what we've seen correlate with success is when members go all in. BNI is a really powerful platform right here in Guwahati and across India and also across the world. And so when members are all in, they tend to get a lot more out of it. It's like a lot of things in life. It's more a function of what you do versus what's available to you. There's so much opportunity in the world today. And so what I mean by being all in within BNI is taking advantage of not only the weekly chapter meetings, but also doing one-to-ones outside of the weekly chapter meetings, really taking advantage of the basic trainings, but also the advanced trainings. Attending BNI's India National Conference, for example, attending BNI's Global Convention. These are things that give members a chance to take a business that might be successful right here, and if they wish, to become a larger regional business or a national business or potentially a global business. And we see a lot of members here in India really becoming powerful global businesses. It's really quite impressive. And if that's something that they wish to do, we want to support them along the way.
Now, while the definition of success may be subjective to a lot of people, scaling someone scaling 100% could be success. Someone even is not satisfied at 200%. What do you think are the unique challenges to businesses in tier 2, tier 3 cities like Guwahati or any other city in India?
Well, let me start maybe just by talking about the definition of success. It is important, and it's an important part of what we do is helping entrepreneurs and business leaders create more revenue, because we know how important that is for them to scale their business and to hire more employees and to take care of their family and all these important things. Of course, it contributes to economic development and the tax base and infrastructure. So we're really excited about that. At the same time, the more I see around the world, the more success is a function of the relationships with people around you, both your family, your friends, your colleagues, your teammates at work, other business leaders in the community. So I just wanted to note that. In terms of challenges, I would say that I think there are it's a dynamic world for sure. We just came out of a very disrupted period, of course, with the pandemic. But what we've been encouraging members worldwide to ask themselves is, what can they do now that they could not do before? And it's a possibility question. And when you think about new technology, when you think about new business process, when you think about the chance to become a truly global business, almost from any scale business, I see a world of opportunity. There'll always be challenges with finding the right talent, finding the right infrastructure to scale a business. All those things are the case today, which is another reason it's important to not try to do it on your own. And a lot of entrepreneurs, most I would say, are kind of type A personalities. They like to try to do things on their own, and I understand that. That's also my personality type. But what BNI is all about is collaboration. So I would say there's challenges with scaling any business, but I would say whether it's here in Guwahati or in India or worldwide, I think there's more opportunity than ever for businesses that stay within that question of what's possible now.
While the possibilities continue to be endless and limitless, how do you think education plays a role in this entire chapter? For example, I may have come from a formal education and background, but then my the kind of business operation that I run may not always have a match. How do you find the synergy and connection there?
Well, first off, one of our core values is lifelong learning. So I would think about the educational opportunity as a journey as opposed to an event. And we also see that lifelong happiness correlates with lifelong learning. So that's another reason to continue to be open to learning throughout one's journey. Also, today there are more streams of technology happening at once than ever before. It used to be that there was one and then another and then another. But maybe to answer your question a different way, maybe someone that hasn't had an opportunity for formal education today with access to broadband more pervasive, they can really take it upon themselves to train themselves like never before. So the reason I mention it this way is because I don't want anyone listening to feel like somehow they can't achieve what anybody can achieve. Maybe years ago that might have been different, but today really it's the case that people can achieve incredible things no matter their formal educational background.
Right. Now, while businesses are always between business leaders and, they're always in the search for one particular word, which is a good client. We are also always on the lookout for someone who I can sell my service to or offer my service to. How do you define a good client?
Thank you. That's a great question. I would start with a good relationship. So it's one thing to do business with a great client, one time or a few times. It's another thing to work with another business leader throughout your entire life. And that's really a lot of fun. You get to know that individual personally, professionally, and it's a lot more fulfilling and successful. One of the things that our founder talks about a lot is that people like to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And I think that's always been the case, and certainly today as well. So I think in a way it's important for entrepreneurs and business leaders to think carefully about what would be an ideal referral, and to think creatively about how to get that referral. We're very focused on referrals, as you know, and so usually one way or another we're able to get people to their dream referral. That's what we call it.
No, but so referrals are someone I may refer you to someone, but from what I want to understand is, there are good clients, there are good relationships, and there are bad clients, bad relationships. Do you think that these can be kind of packaged in a standard box that has a checklist? A good client pays on time, a good vendor, raises invoices on time, because without the right paper trail, without the right mechanism, also sometimes a lot of conversations just fall flat because a lot of the paperwork didn't happen. Do you think that certain business leaders should also consider a checklist of good things to do?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. So a good client is one where there's a mutually beneficial relationship, and there might be some administrative issues that arise from time to time. But if there's a strong relationship with trust and the right intent, that's okay. That won't prevent the relationship from continuing. One of the things we do see, especially with early stage companies, is that they might try to take any client. And we generally advise the other direction. Kind of to your question, we suggest that they really think about what is an ideal client. It's not any client. It's certainly, a good client is one that, is timely with their payments and wants to work on a repeated basis, but also really appreciates the value that one brings to their organization. And I think that's important. So being strategic and thoughtful, and then being a great business partner once you have that client is important.
Now, this may sound like kind of an ironical question, but you work on referrals. BNI as a system works on efficient and good referrals. In an age of digital marketing, do you think, where there's a lot of data science involved and a lot of analytics involved, do you think digital marketing may stand as an opposition to, not as an opposition, but do you think it serves a similar purpose? And, it takes a good business referral right to your mobile phone and a direct, access to the service provider. Do you think both of them work together? Both of them work independently? How do you see the hyped up version of digital marketing today?
Well, BNI has always operated at the intersection of high touch and high technology. So we invest a lot in data science and also in technology to support our operations around the world and to support members. I'll tell you a quick anecdote. BNI started in 1985, so nearly 40 years ago. And by 1996, so 11 years later, it had created about 500 chapters. And in 1996, the internet became more pervasive, and it was kind of internet phase one. So in the first 11 years, the organization created 500 chapters, but then the internet came. In the next 11 years, the organization created 5,000 chapters. And so technology really accelerates what we do as an organization. And we're also seeing a heightened value on trust and on familiarity, because with more information than ever, it can be hard to maybe navigate that and find trustworthy sources of referrals or clients. So in a way, we've always operated with technology throughout our operations, but also I think the value of relationships has gone up.
So both digital and BNI are here to stay?
Yeah, and we encourage members, by the way, to look for new business development through all sources, to be involved in many organizations, to be involved in digital in many facets. We encourage them to be well networked in every way, because then they can bring more to their chapter. That being said, we do analyze a lot of statistics and data. 55% of the time, referrals convert into revenue. So it's a very high conversion rate. And they also convert 38% more quickly than leads from other sources. And so if you think about that, there's a very high conversion ratio, and they also convert quickly. And it makes sense because you're getting a referral from someone that you that you know and trust. And so you're more likely to do business. We don't have the statistic on it quite yet, but we are starting the research to suggest that customers and clients that come via referrals are more sticky and stay longer. That's our strong hypothesis, but we don't have the data to prove that yet. But we do have the data to prove that the high conversion rate and also the fact that they convert more quickly. When you think about a lot of emerging businesses, they don't have time to wade through a lot of random leads. Right. And with some digital marketing, that's what comes in, right? You might get 200 or 300 or 500 leads, but you have to have someone kind of sort through those, and maybe 2 or 3 turn into clients. With referrals, as I mentioned, 55% of the time they convert into new customers. So we suggest people do everything. A lot of times BNI members build their business on BNI, and that's okay. Again, we like people to be very well networked, but a lot of times people build their business solely on BNI.
What role does BNI play in supporting small and medium enterprises in a city like Guwahati?
Yeah. Well, in addition to the referrals, it really provides a lot of training, because we have 40 years of training. That we have a massive amount of training, offline and online. So if I had to sum it up, I would say, training is key. And so if you're a business and you're trying to get, suppliers, that happens through BNI. If you are trying to figure out how to scale your business, how to hone your presentation skills, a lot of times members join, for example, and they're very scared to stand up in front of a room, which is understandable. 2 years later, they are excellent at presenting their value proposition. And so I'd say training is a key.
Right. All right. And, what advice, and someone in your position who's heading, say, about 5,000 chapters today, did I get that correct?
Well, today we're very grateful. We have 11,160 chapters today. So
well over 11,000 chapters, let's put it there. But someone who's leading about 11,000 chapters, what advice do you give to small and medium young entrepreneurs today who want to start out in the business? Could be BNI related, could be not related to BNI. How do you advise that here's where your business should start?
Well, let me assume that they're working within their passion, because I think that's so important. And so for any would-be entrepreneurs out there, I would say identify your passion, follow your passion. You're going to be happier and you're going to be more successful. I would also say a lot of times the fear of failure keeps people from pursuing their passion, and I would humbly suggest that they should put that away. It's okay and normal. And one of my great mentors once said, life is like a game of chutes and ladders more than a steady upward slope. So don't be afraid to dream big. But the other advice I would say is be surrounded by mentors. If you don't have a board of directors, and a lot of early stage companies don't, I would say get one earlier than you think you need it. And if you can't do that for some reason, get a board of advisors and really listen to their advice. Get people who will tell you the truth about maybe some challenges you're having or some risks you're taking. I think that's really important, because there's a lot of very experienced entrepreneurs and business leaders that want to contribute back to folks that might be earlier in their journey. And finally, I would say try to achieve balance, maybe not in the moment, but over time. Make sure they take care of themselves and those around them. It's easy for those things to go by the wayside when pursuing at a kind of breakneck speed, but try to take care of themselves. And no matter what happens, everything will be okay.
So as we kind of taper the questions off towards the end, and we kind of, I have a few set of questions left. What is the future of collaborative networking, which you so rightly lead? What do you think is the future of collaborative networking, especially with advancements in technology and the entire landscape that changes? also keeping in mind that, there may be another pandemic like situation. I hope it never happens, but you never know. How do you best prepare for something like this, and what is the future of this entire networking? Where do you see it?
Well, I think the future will continue to be at the intersection of high touch and high technology, and whatever the new technology is, I think will be incorporated into sort of the best-in-class models, and so it'll be multi-platform, in person, online in various forms. Other trends, I think it will continue to globalize. I think it is more understood today that it's important to be part of a network. Particularly in dynamic times, we see that our retention rates go up a lot when economies are disrupted, or perhaps when there's a global disruption. We do certainly hope that there's not another pandemic, but I would say that disruptions are something that happens, right, on a regional or national or global level. So whether it's being part of a formal network or just having a strong informal network, I think that network helps in a lot of ways when those things happen, not only with referrals or learning, but also just with encouragement. And I think that's something we all need, but especially entrepreneurs and business leaders appreciate and are fueled by recognition and encouragement.
Right. And as I wrap this up with the one final conversation and the one final question, what do you think is the future of Guwahati in terms of becoming a business destination, or becoming, a choice of someone to start their business here?
Yeah, I think it has a very bright future. It is developing, of course, very rapidly. I think there's so many beautiful things in the area, so it's a natural destination. And I can see a lot of passion for businesses to scale up. And I think there's a healthy sort of camaraderie that's here. So I think the future is very bright.
All right. So did you happen to do any sightseeing today?
Yes, we just came back from being up in the mountains. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
I think you also enjoyed fantastic weather here. I mean, the weather is really pleasant here today.
Yeah, very cool and beautiful, beautiful sights. And so I think that's another plus and advantage is that, I'd suggest probably already is happening that there's a lot of business conferences and conclaves here because this is a great place to be.
All right, Graham, thank you so much for your time and a fantastic conversation.
Thank you.
For those of you watching, if you're a BNI member, be sure to share this video with your CEO. And what do you think was the best learning that you got from this video? Leave them down in the comments below. And for those of you who've been watching and supporting the Guwahati Connection, I'm very grateful for all the love that you've shown and showered to Guwahati Connection and Gplus. Be sure to spread the word, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.